Do any of us know why we do the things we do? Can any of us be sure that we know why we do the things we do? When we look into phenomena such as free will, from a very educated stance in human psychology and humanisms and biology and all these sort of things, like lots of people have done, they will tell you that there is no free will. And one person in particular, he's kind of like a biologist or evolutionary biologist, or he's called Robert Sapolsky, and he worked with baboons for 20 years, as well as being a university lecturer in human psychology. And so he studies human behaviour and animal behaviour to such an extent where he's absolutely convinced that there is no free will. Then we can listen to people like Sam Harris, and he'll tell you the same. Even Neil deGrasse Tyson, is very, very sceptical about free will, because when we look into it, it's not just the fact that if I decide to do something now, I can do it, so therefore I've got free will. No. It's all of the life experience which is led up to this actual point in time, which has governed what you do without you knowing. It's an unconscious thing. And so, for instance, let me just say what I'm going to say now. I haven't worked in many years, maybe 14 years. I had a little bit, I was finishing off a one building project for a small period of time during that, because I had one property remaining. But since my spiritual awakening 14 years ago, something decided that I was going to do something else. And before then, I was travelling the world, and I was a real go-getter, self-motivated, really thriving in my own egotism, and I was reaping all the benefits of believing in the human being fiction. And I was driving nice cars, and I had lots of properties in several countries, and copious amounts of money, and I was living it up. A lot of world travel. But then I had this egoic implosion because what I was doing in my life wasn't really serving me. And look, many people have led lives like I led, and they have never changed. They've just continued. Maybe they've been really stressed on lots of occasions, maybe they've been ill, maybe they've had nervous breakdowns, but they've got back up again to continue with the same old shit. Now that never happened with me, and it's very much like I was destined to be what I am, doing what I am, and I seriously believe that I've never had an ounce of control over any of it. I was guided by a force which was vastly over and above my silly operating system, the ego. And when I look back, all my world travel, over 45 countries all over the world, living and working in many of them, experiencing a billion things, living life to the max, really being adventurous and doing things that, on the brink of death. I was never really happy unless I was on the brink of death with that level of excitement. And I came close to death on, many times. Significantly, I write about 4 in my book. And so, since my spiritual awakening, I went on a path which is what it is now. And the path was that I would never actually work again. I would never find any of those fruits remotely beneficial. I would always find it to be completely ridiculous and purposeless. And the main focal point of this life is discovering who and what you are. And so I've been on that journey now for the past 14 years, and I've been given incredible, amazing spiritual encounters, which you couldn't work for, people. You couldn't attempt to try and create. It just doesn't work like that. But for some reason, something wanted me to experience these things, probably so I talk about them, because you see, when we look at people who are successful in something, they have all the ingredients to be successful in that realm. And granted, they have to work at it, most people. Even when you've got talent, you really have to work at it. And so, what I've done is, over the years, I've become more and more of a proficient orator. Very, very thorough, investigating all different sorts of supernatural, paranormal, metaphysical, and all these sort of things. And just go and make sure I know where I'm going now. And so I'm on a journey, and I don't plan anything. I live from day to day, basking in the knowledge and comfort that the universe has my back. The universe has something that it wants me to do, and so I'm doing it. And the payoff I get is living a very blissful, unencumbered life. Not having a care in the world about anything. I just speak into the camera and I post it, and I joust and I taunt and I berate and I do all these sort of things, my fellow human beings, in an endeavour to wake something up in them. And you know, if anybody asks me, well, why do you do this? Why do you want to do this? I mean, it's kind of like, I don't want to do it. I don't know why I'm doing it. If you ask the ego part of me, he will say, I don't give a flying about anybody else. I'm really not a people person. I don't care. And I would be perfectly happy for the rest of my life if I never encountered a human being again. I really would. I don't need human beings in my life. But I've kind of had this curse, which is keeping me involved in the human being and providing for them and asking them to come to give me something. Come and give me something. Be self-realised. Can't you think about occasions when you've experienced this thing, when you've experienced that? Don't you think that was a little bit strange? Well, think about those things, because you may end up on a journey of self-discovery instead of just pushing them away onto the back burner because the ego's too busy chasing paper and trinkets. You see, anybody that's ever been spiritually awoken, they'll all tell you that things that they used to consider to be important are no longer important, even remotely. And that's just how it is. And then they start going on another trajectory, and maybe they are doing some sort of work for people, with people, that sort of thing. And you know, I'm doing the same in my own insular way. I can do it in my time, under my governance, and I don't have to be involved in the vicinity of the pink ape, because frankly I'm not too keen, because it's been my experience that you have to filter through an awful amount to find any good ones. And so that's where I am. And so I'm doing what I'm doing, and those long-term viewers know that I've been bang at this with the greatest of tenacity for many years now. And you know, I've been emotionally up and down, and the human experience, the egoic experience, has been trying to work out what's going on, because it didn't know what was going on. It's never known what was going on. Everything has been a shock to its system. Once it was flying around the world trying to conquer every mountain and every valley, and gather up all the trinkets on the way and have a cramp pack full of life experiences. And then something says, hey, hold on a minute. No. We've got something for you. Come here. Sent me plummeting into the deepest of depressions for many years. There was no life force at all, no energy. Compelled me to seek out ancient philosophy and spirituality and religions and all sorts of things, just to read forever and a day. It's been going on now for 14 years, people. There's something that I still don't grasp. I've got no idea, why it is. But all I can say is I'm very happy with it because I do live a blessed life. But in my last video, at the end, I'm getting a bit bullshit again. And I'm going, have you had any of these experiences? You tell me about any spiritual encounters, any paranormal encounters. Have you got any? Or is it just me? Am I the chosen one? Am I the next Christ? Christ is here. Is he in me? Why did Christ tell me this? Why did God tell me that? Why did I have a visitation from Satan himself? Why did angels give me this message? Why? What is it? Why am I reading all these things? In one breath, I'm discounting the veracity of Jesus, but then I'm reading so intently, looking and listening, thirsting after, whatever Jesus stood for. But you see, I'm finding it, and I'm going, aha, that's what it is. All this stuff in the Bible is only touching remotely on it. It's just a little bit, like the people that compiled those books didn't want you to know. Look, at the end of the day, people, all you've got to realise is all this secret stuff, all this gnosticism, all this information which comes to people like me through very, very peculiar channels was never shared. It was always kept in the most secret of societies. These days, however, even Cabalists, even the most ardent of Jews which are deeply rooted in Kabbalah and the Torah, they are even saying now that this stuff needs to be spoken about. More people need to know about it because whatever they had is dying. And that's the thing about it. They don't want that certain essence of their secret schools of gnosis to die. So therefore they are telling everybody now, they're just putting it out there under the assumption that only the most intelligent and awoken and enlightened of beings are going to be tuning into that shit in any case. So it's never going to be for the masses. It's going to go straight over the head of the masses. So it doesn't matter. You can stand on a fucking fruit box in the middle of the marketplace and you can sing and dance about all this stuff, the most secretive stuff that's ever been, written and hidden in archives. Well, you can do that, and the vast majority of the people will never pay the blindest bit of attention to it. Why? Because they don't have the receptors. They've got to have the God-given receptors to receive this stuff. You can't just be inaugurated into these sects. It has to come from spirit. Spirit has to give you the spark, and then it sets you on a journey whereby you do the study yourself and you seek yourself, and spirit will guide you and be with you every step of the journey. And that's what it's been like with me. Every single book I've ever read has been placed for me the exact appropriate time. Everybody I've met and every video I've watched and all this sort of thing, it's all been perfect to bring me to where I am now. And where I am now is getting into a very, very high level of understanding about what this mysticism and secret society stuff has been about. And so what I say is, in one of my videos not so long ago, I'm saying, look, is there any purpose of these people keep seeking out and trying to work out what these symbols mean and what the influences were? What did these authors of this secret scripture really have to say? And people are really umming and ahhing about it and, going through it with a fine-tooth comb. But the point is, you don't need to apply that level of intelligence to it, because you'll never know it via that intelligence. You'll know it if Spirit wants you to know it, and you'll know it via intuition. So what I say is, and what I know, is that my intuition tells me the answers to all these things. and I don't need to know about many subjects, but if I'm presented with a subject, instantly I will know what it's about. I will know the veracity, I will know the answer, and then when I do the study, it turns out that my intuition was exactly right. And so there's something about tapping into the Akasha. We tap into this realm of information where everything is there, and once we become spiritually enlightened, then that is available to us. And so Edgar Casey, you know, wrote extensively about the Akasha. So did Madame Blavatsky, and you know, lots of other mystics. They're writing about all this information. Everything that's ever been thought and said is in a realm. And you know, Rupert Sheldrake speaking about morphic resonance. There is information in the ether that is so vast, it's so incomprehensible by the vast majority of people. But it's a sort of information whereby, let's say, an ant colony, they derive all of their intelligence from. And this morphic resonance is an intelligence waiting to be tapped into. Let's just say it's like Wi-Fi. Ant Wi-Fi is all around the world. And when you have the right antennae, you have the right software, you can tap into that information. That information tells you exactly how to run a colony. It doesn't tell the boss, the king or the queen, or, you know, anybody like that. It tells every single member of that colony their job. And so some of them are born workers, some of them are born foragers, some of them are born protectors, others are born to serve the queen, and all this sort of thing. And genetically they are endowed with the exact tools to do it. And so the ones that serve the queen are born blind because they don't need sight, because they never see the light of day. The ones that are born to protect the colony have huge pincers, where the workers used to have regular sized pincers. And so there's all this stuff going on. How is it that this happens? And people can just say, oh, it's just evolution, oh, it's just there. No, look, that doesn't answer it, does it? Come on, just to say that and pass it off and not think about it, it gives us nothing. We have to look for, well, what is the root of evolution? Where does evolution get this genius from? How does it, oh, it's passed on genetically. No, it's not passed on genetically. No, what they're saying is now, and they can prove this in many realms, because it happens with all different sorts of species all over the world, including the human being. We tap into a variety of Akasha, of collective unconscious, which is all around us. Carl Jung spoke about that, and many other people, like I say, Edgar Casey and Blavatsky and Sheldrake, you know, just to mention a few. I've spoken about this. There's a whole lot more to this world than the vast majority of us will ever even imagine. And so this is the realm I'm in now, and I know that I can tap into these realms, and I know that I can tap into the Akasha, just like Edgar Casey was tapping into it. And he was saying that, well, you know, there's only very few people that ever can tap into it, and you need to have special skills, and like I'm saying, it's not these skills that you can necessarily learn. I think mostly they're a gift. They're a gift of awakening. They're a gift of enlightenment. You have the software downloaded. It's like if you're operating on a Windows 95, then you are not going to be able to receive a vast majority of modern information. But if you've got Windows 11, then you will be privy to it all. That's what it's like. And when I look around, you know, I'm all speaking about automaton, musks, muggles, and you know, all the rest of it, because they don't have the software. They don't have the antennae to tap in to this knowledge and this alternative paradigm of consciousness. And it's not only a paradigm of consciousness in relation to knowledge, it's the paradigm of consciousness in relation to everything that we see and feel about this world. We see and feel this world in a very different way. And so, you know, more and more I'm appealing to you, the viewer, long term, because if anybody groks where I'm coming from, it's going to be you guys who have watched me for many years, and hopefully the ones that are reading my book. And then you'll have some sort of level of insight of where I'm coming from, and maybe you have something similar. And if you do, then, you know, that's what I'm appealing to share, you know, to speak about it, because there is very, very few of us, evidently. And, you know, if we all know it individually, if we keep stum about it and we don't write it down and we don't archive it and we don't bring it to the notice of other people out there, then it's going to die along with us. And this variety of human being is going to die. And so what am I doing? I am an advocate, I'm an emissary, I'm an envoy for spirit who wants to keep this level and paradigm of human consciousness alive, because there's forces on this planet that want to kill it. And so people like me are fighting the good cause. And we are trying to wake up the other people. We're trying to offer them a certain insight, but if they don't have the software for whatever reason, then that's futile. And so I'm appealing to those of you that do have the software, or do have a little bit of it, that can actually, you know, get in line with some of the things I'm saying, that do have certain experiences. Because when you look at all the experiences that I've had, those of you that are very familiar with my experience and, you know, I get it through my book. When you are with that information, then you can see that I've travelled a very unique particular variety of journey. And it has to be for a reason. What that reason is, well, I'm only just hazarding the guess that it is to pay it forward, it's to pass the baton, it's to gather up this information using my intellect, which the universe and cosmos has endowed me with. Many years ago, when I started meditation, you know, I listened to the founder of the or the CEO of the Transcendental Meditation Organization, and he was saying that, you know, meditation will increase your level of consciousness and awareness. And I said to myself, well, that's what I want, that's what I'm here for. And from the first day I started to meditate, it was beautiful. It sat exactly with me like it was already programmed within me, like I'd been meditating for a million years. And so every single day, can you imagine, people, for the past 14 years I've meditated. And so that is quite something, and that isn't something I have to work at, it just happens. My body just tells me, my mind tells me, the spirit tells me at certain points in the day, it's time now. And then I go into this level of meditation. But when we're in that meditation, it nurtures our minds, and it breeds fertile ground for the Akasha to speak with us, to download us. And that's what's been happening with me ever since the first day I began to meditate. Because since that day, I started to record, because I was absolutely compelled to do it for reasons I'm now starting to grok. For many years, I didn't know why I was reading all this philosophy and psychology, when it seemed like, you know, watching grass grow or paint dry. But over years, I really started to get a full depth of what was actually happening. That something was guiding me to acquire all this information because I needed it, because I'm going to be, like what David Icke says. He says he was chosen. One day, he just had this notion, this spirit, that you know, took him in a certain way, gave him a religious, spiritual experience. He went to see a psychic, and this psychic told him, well, you're going to be speaking, you're going to be standing on stage and speaking to the whole world. And he's like, what? You know, because before then he was like, he was a footballer originally, he was a goalkeeper, and then he went into football commentary, and he had no idea that he was going on this. And now, of course, for the past 30 years, he's been dedicated to it, like I've been dedicated to it, absolutely dedicated to it for the past 15 years, 14 years for myself. And so free will, no free will at all. We are all assigned by cosmic spirits to do a certain something. And I'm thinking, well, those of us who are blessed with the spark of the correct consciousness, those of us that have a different DNA, I don't know, and I'm speculating that maybe my DNA is related to the Anunnaki DNA, which is, you know, over and above the regular pink primate DNA, because they don't have the insight. They are muggles. They don't see spirit. That's the whole thing about these muggles in the Harry Potter, Muggles don't see spirits. And when you speak to them about spirit, because they're just myopic, they don't even know that they're complete automaton, and they're programmed from birth. And as to why these people are all programmed, I think it really is to serve people like me. Because all these people that pave roads and run supermarkets and you know, make cameras and rucksacks and glasses, they're all serving me. And what do? Well, I just have to tell people the nature of the cosmos. And so I'm serving everybody in a loop type of way. I'm not doing anything productive whatsoever. I'm not producing bread, cakes, sandwiches, knives and forks, nothing. I'm producing nothing physical. What I'm doing is I am paying forward a certain vibration which the cosmos is feeding through me, and then it's coming out. That's what I'm doing, ladies and gentlemen. What do you feel about that? Have you got any problems with that? Or can you see that that is an actual fact of reality?